Hello all and welcome to All Red. Arne Slot's men have had a near perfect start record-wise with one slip up against Forest, but there's one player in Arne's preferred starting 11 who I think is in potential danger of losing his place. This is the channel that is All Liverpool all the time. It's All Red. Please hit that like button on this video and consider subscribing as we continue to build an amazing LFC fan channel here on YouTube. So we need to talk about one, Dominic Szoboszlai, or as I sometimes like to call him, Dommy Schlobbers. Dominic has been, how do we say it? Maybe just a rough start under Arne Slot. And I've got some stats and some hard numbers to kind of explain this and hopefully maybe see where he needs to improve. But I get the feeling that Dominic Szoboszlai, Dommy Schlobbers, by the way, it is Szoboszlai. Everybody says it differently, but it is Szoboszlai. He said that himself, Dominic Szoboszlai. Okay, it's not Szoboszlai, it's Dominic Szoboszlai. Or you can just call him Dommy Schlobbers. I just get the feeling that he hasn't quite gotten his feet underneath him in the Arne Slot era. The Arne Slot system is not yet downloaded into his brain hard drive. And I think there can be, of course, two things true at once. First off, Dominic Szoboszlai has not been good enough this season under Arne Slot. And secondly, two thumbs up, secondly, I think he can get there because the proof is in the pudding. The proof, if you look at him outside of Liverpool this season, which is a tiny little sample, but you look at him playing for Hungary and the guy's scoring goals, clearly the best player on the team. We know he can do these things, right? And so I think there is definitely hope for Dominic Szoboszlai, but the hairy Hungarian definitely needs to be better under Arne Slot. And we're going to look at some stats and some numbers to show just how poor Szoboszlai's been. Now, he's not been like the worst player ever, but when you look at the standard, when you look at the players around him, when you look at the other midfielders in the team, they are performing at a very high level, and Szoboszlai not quite. Now, we know Arne Slot has kind of called him out just a little bit, saying a player in that position for Liverpool should be scoring more goals and honestly should be providing more goals as well to the front line, which he has not been doing. So I'm going to show you this real quick. First and foremost, let's look at this. That you can see kind of the trailing off here, and it kind of is getting worse, and hopefully it has to get worse before it gets better. Hopefully it gets better. But you can see how Szoboszlai has been, slowly just trailing off. Now, this is in the Premier League. If we look at the Champions League, which has been one game, he actually performed really well against AC Milan, and I think partly that rating is due to his scoring a goal, because I don't think he was actually very good in that game. But he did get a goal against the Milanese. But you look at these results, these performances, and he's not playing against great teams here, and he's not performing super well. And you can even look at his heat map. It seems like it's all over the place. Arne Slot wants control, poise. When you look at Gravenberch's heat map, it looks much more conformed, a lot more conformity, and Szoboszlai is just kind of like he's all over the place. Now I know he's a box to box number 10 or number 8, and so he should be all over the pitch. But you just get the feeling like where is he supposed to be? Where is his preferred position on the pitch when he's playing? And I don't know. You just don't get the sense that he's quite gotten it into his head yet. But I want to show you this as well. This is very interesting. So this is Szoboszlai over the last 365 days versus compared to everybody in his position across the big 5 leagues. Okay, really good numbers, right? Really good numbers for scoring, assisting, expected assists, all that jazz. Now, if we transition to the 24-25 Premier League, look out, because those numbers tank, free fall. Really, really bad. Poor. And, we can scroll down and you can continue to see these numbers are not good enough. Not for a player of his caliber and his position in a Liverpool squad where we're scoring goals. It's not like our team is not scoring goals. But you can even see, it's not only the goals, because he scored 0.00 goals per 90. It's also the assists. He's not assisting as well. And surely, if a player in his position is not scoring, surely they should be assisting. When you have players like Mohamed Salah and Jota and Luis Diaz, who has been scoring for fun. And he's not even doing that. So you get the sense that he's kind of getting lost on the pitch. He's not scoring. He's not assisting. What is he doing? Well, he's passing. He's making passes, which is good. He's still involved. And he does have a really good pass completion rating so far in the Premier League. But again, a player in that position. Now, if Szoboszlai was, maybe in the McAllister position, that more deep-lying, part of the double pivot, some of these things could be explained, right? Well, he doesn't get far enough up the pitch. He's more interested in breaking up the opposition's attack than really providing for our own. But that's not Szoboszlai. He's an attacking midfielder for Liverpool Football Club. He has to be getting more involved. And you can see it, right? The eye test on the pitch it tells the same story, because in the final third, Szoboszlai's been very, very poor. He gets the ball and our attack just flops. He gets the ball and the passing in the final third is not good enough. The probably 13.2% that is missing here is probably mostly, if not all, in the final third. So his attacking mindset is just not good enough. And it's not like he's making passes and our attackers are missing their chances, which would have happened a lot last year. He's not even getting good looks in the final third. There was, where did it come here? It was, progressive carries into the final third, carries in a penalty area. All those things are low. He's difficult to be dispossessed, but if you look at, the goals and assists expected assisted goals is very low. He's in the 31st percentile. Expected assists is even lower than that. It's 19% because he's just not doing the right things. And he's not even getting passes into those areas. So even, the completed passes into the 18-yard box of the opposition, so incredibly low. Where is he? And the progressive passes too. Listen, I said a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago now, that Curtis Jones would be a very important player. And everybody was like, are you kidding me? Curtis Jones can't make a forward pass. He just passes side to side and backwards. Well, that's Dominic Szoboszlai now. That's what he's doing. And honestly, Curtis Jones, I think, deserves to come in and start one of these games because he's looked a little bit better. He's been the better player, versus Szoboszlai in the very limited sample size that Curtis Jones has given us. So, I still feel like Dominic Szoboszlai is a Rolls Royce. He's an incredible player, incredible technique. He's got all the intangibles. He's big frame, super fast, quick. And we know from Hungary and from his previous clubs, this guy has a bucket of talent. And he looked really good in, the first couple months last year under Klopp. But since then, right, since his injury last season, he just hasn't been the same. And certainly under Arne Slot, he looks lost. Now, absolutely he can figure this out. And Arne Slot is not one to just give up and drop somebody for good. But I do feel like, there needs to be this wake-up call for Szoboszlai, right? Like, take your earrings off, maybe skip one of your haircuts and get back out on the training pitch and figure this out. This is a very important position for a club like Liverpool. This is a very important position for a club who is going to control and possess the ball and kill the opposition with the ball, if we're doing that and our attack is just dropping off when we get to the final third, that's not going to work. We should have scored more goals at this point in the Premier League. We should have. But there's been some very, very poor play in the final third, and it's not just Szoboszlai. But we've got higher expectations for somebody like that. And I think that's okay to say. And I think it's also okay to remember that Szoboszlai is class. And I think he can figure it out. And I think Arne Slot is the type of coach who can help him do that. But we need to start seeing that. And certainly before we get into this stretch in the Premier League where we're playing teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, Tottenham, Newcastle, we have not played a single team above the 10th place at this current point in time. Forest is currently in 10th. That's the best team we've played so far, and we lost to them. So we're going to need players like Szoboszlai to step it up and play better, and hopefully Arne Slot can get his players like Szoboszlai, ramped up, get them in the right mindset, and start playing the way that we know that they can play. So, Domi Schlobbers, our hairy Hungarian, I think he can get there, but we certainly need to see some improvements, Dummy.